And people always see me like at weigh-ins and when I was fighting. So I'd have to go through this process like Wonder Boy's talking about. So they go, oh, look at this little short, stocky guy. You see all his abs. But I'm not walking around like that all the time. And I'm 5'6". How tall are you, Wonder Boy?
I'm a little over 6 foot.
This guy. On off season, I guarantee he's got at least a 4-pack. Yeah. He's probably got a 6-pack. This motherfucker. Pretty guy. Look at this guy.
I stay pretty
dangerous
lean.
guy.
I stay pretty
He
lean.
does stay lean.
And have you talked to, and I asked you this morning, but I got to ask you again, have you talked to GSP since he decided to come back? Did he tell you he was going to come back or no?
I haven't. I found out that he's coming back. And you know what? I've had a lot of people ask me, would you fight him? And, you know, being the welterweight champion, sometimes you have to, you know, there are obligations. But I've known George for a while. And if that did go down, that would be his decision.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I was really cool with George before I fought him. You know, George is a nice dude.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Oh, and you trained with him back at TriStar for a little bit, no?
Yeah, but for
that's ages ago.
Thiago Alves, John Fitch, Carlos Condit. This was before I was even doing MMA. I was doing kickboxing at the time.
Yeah.
But he bring me up there for years, and you know, had a good relationship, and it was cool. That he was kind of my inspiration. I just switched from kickboxing to mixed martial arts because I found myself doing more of the jiu-jitsu, more of the wrestling, just to be a better sparring partner.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, why not make the switch?
Well, guys who like each other, I mean, you know, Arlovsky had to fight Overeem, you know, and they trained together. I mean,
I had to fight Rory, and I've known Rory for years.
And
years,
yeah, that was like a very frustrating fight for him.
Yeah.
Was that his last fight in the UFC?
That was.
It was.
Yeah. That was.
And was it hard for you to get, like, you know, you fight a guy that you know and you like? Is it harder for you to get ready for or no?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, once it's set, you have a job. And I felt like if I didn't give 100%, I would be disrespecting him.
If you didn't give 100%. I wonder if it's easier to fight a guy like that in a way, too, because without the when you're too angry at somebody or you dislike them too much, we saw Jose Aldo against Conor, like it messes you up psychologically and you probably try to go out and do too much and you make mistakes.
Yeah.
So if you don't hate the guy.
Yeah, I never not like the guy when I never hate the guy when I walk out there. I think even if they talk a bunch of crap, I'm just like, just go out there and do my thing.
You seem like you're very difficult to rattle because you're a nice guy and it's very genuine, and you seem like you other guys don't really get into your head, and you don't seem like you're easy to do psychological warfare against.
And it's kind of hard for them to do that. It's kind of hard for them to find out something, you know, this nice guy. What am I going to say? What am I going to say bad about him? You know?
Right.
But yeah, it does. I've seen a lot of people let that stuff mess with them, and it affects them.
And you were
I don't care.
57-0 as a kickboxer.
Yep.
And when you lost the first fight, I guess Matt Brown was your first loss ever. What was that like?
You know what? It was devastating. It was for me. You know, I feel like I let everybody down, myself down, but it was also a blessing because I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for that fight. It went back and showed me what I needed to work on, and it told a lot about myself. I was never pushed to the point to where Matt Brown pushed me that fight. You know, it was I was done first 30 seconds in the first round, and mentally I knew I wasn't 100%. Like I was just getting more tired and more tired. But still, I gave everything I got, and it told a little bit about told myself what I was capable of, even when I'm in a position where most people would quit.
And there was no temptation because again, we've seen a few people where they lose a fight after going 10-0 or 12-0, and it just like, look at Holly. I mean, even though she's fought very tough and she went out punching against Misha and then she lost 2 decisions, sometimes it seems like you can get in someone's head and they just have a hard time, and you didn't seem to have a hard time winning at all.
I got good people around me. Good positive people, good team. My dad, my coaches back at Upstate Karate Team Pitch Black.
What did your dad say to you?
He smacks me, what are you doing? Nah, he doesn't do that. It was he's always there, man. He's always there to pick you up. He'll let you know what you do wrong. Obviously, that's just him. He'll tell you how to like it is. You sucked, then he'll tell you sucked. But it's always in a loving way, and we go back, we look at the fight and see what we did wrong. Even if it's a first round knockout or a 5-minute round war, there's always something you go back and work on.
What do you think you did wrong against Matt Brown?
It was I definitely had to work on my my takedown defense. I had it. I just didn't have the energy to do it. I was walking around. I hired a new strength and conditioning coach, had me walk around like 209, and I tried to cut to 170.
Oh, that guy got fucking
and it killed me.
Right now.
Was that his only time as your strength and conditioning coach? Is he still around or no?
No. After that, I left a bad taste in my mouth, and I kind of started doing my own thing. Yeah. And this is the first time, my first camp, I hired a strength and conditioning coach, a guy named Josh Reynolds, who is amazing. He was working with some of our guys back home, and I saw the benefits. They weren't gaining any weight, but they were more explosive. They were faster. I felt strong. So I'm like, I'm going to use this guy, and that's how I feel now. My weight's still good, but I feel more explosive and definitely stronger.
How long have you been using him for?
Oh, wow. 8.
Last fight.
Yeah, since the last fight.
All right, good, man. Nice.
And when you leave things in the judge's hand, I mean, sometimes nobody wants to, but sometimes
Right.
it just happens. And there's been some questionable decisions, you know.
Lately.
Yeah, I personally, I love Anderson, but I thought Derek Brunson won that fight.
Yeah.
And there's been a few times you're like,
The
"Ugh."
Holly Holmes one. I don't know if you saw that last one.
Oh,
That
against
was
Jermaine,
pretty
yeah.
close.
yeah, I thought Holly had that. I remember thinking that.
especially after the second, was it like,
Oh, there was some
Second
after
late
the bell.
punch.
Oh man, and those
Oh,
were the
after
hardest
bell
hits.
punches.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
hardest
know.
she
What
got
the
hit.
heck?
Yeah, Holly. Listen,
she's
like I
appealing that.
Did she not
so.
even get warned? Did she get warned?
She got warned once, and he warned her again a second time, but they were both pretty flagrant.
I think she got warned on the second one. I don't think she really got a warning on the first one. He was like, "No, that was okay." You know,
Oh, I
it
thought
wasn't
she
like an
did.
official
Got you.
warning. You know,
On the second one, that's when it's like, hey, listen, this could change the course of her next fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't be taking these shots. It's
Yeah,
not
that
cool.
was, and she's appealing it. So again, she may or may not,
Yeah, I mean,
But
what does that really mean with the whole? I mean, I don't know.
Dana was not happy that night.
Dana wasn't happy, but yet that's we talked about that. I enjoyed the hell out of that night,
I did too.
and I'm going to enjoy this weekend. Let me tell you.
Boom! What's funny?
Pow!
I watch other
I
guys
can't
that try
wait.
to fight like you, and I don't think they try to like look at Stephen Thompson. I'm going to fight like
Yeah.
you, but the way you're so scary for me to watch. I really like you, and your arms are down in your head. I'm like, oh my god, he's just what a dangerous way, and you're so fast. You're able to do that, and then I see other guys doing that. I'm like, oh, he's not fast enough to
You
pull
were
that
saying
off.
that about Lando.
I don't think he's not fast enough, but I'm like, when you're coming into the UFC and you're fighting this level of fighter, I think these guys are a little quicker than he's used to.
I think it's
he got hit a few hard
they
times.
know
yeah.
how to judge the distance and whatnot. I mean, you even got like Raging Al does that all the time too. It's a little different. He's got a little bit different style, but
It's if you watch Muhammad Ali, I mean, it was a way for me to distribute my weight a little bit faster.
Yeah.
You know, your hands up like Mike Tyson style. It's very hard to move your weight around because all the weight's up top.
Okay.
So when your hands are down, you can move, you can distribute your weight a little bit easier. And the guys, most people when they fight, they look up here, they look in your face. So if your hands are there, they see your hands at all times. When my hands are moving down here, it's harder to figure out where your hands are coming from.
Oh, whatever. I mean, it works. I mean, obviously, you've mastered the idea of getting back, and it just seems like you're trying to pull them in
I mean,
a little
sometimes
bit.
it doesn't work. I mean, I did get punched in the
Yeah.
head twice that last fight.
There's some guys that got their hands up and they're still getting punched right in the face.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all how
A lot of
they
people
do
didn't
it.
like Tyson style. That whole Customado peekaboo thing. They thought was like they didn't like it. They criticized it. They thought that wasn't the right way to do it. And then I guess he goes, what was he, 30-0 or
Yeah,
whatever?
he's
And like,
crushing dudes, lifting people off the floor with his punches.
what do you think it is about him that makes people like as a fighter? We like a guy like Tyson so much. Like Larry Holmes, nobody gives a shit about. He was like, what, he went 49-0 or 48-0. Nobody talks about Larry Holmes and his big left jab. But Tyson, we just loved. He meant something to people for
I
some
think,
reason.
I don't know, he just came out of nowhere. He was, 19 or 18, 19 when he first came in the pro scene and just was crushing dudes. His whole physique, I mean, he was shorter
Yeah.
than most heavyweights. He was yoked, big thighs,
Big neck.
big thick neck, just looked scary.
He looked the part. I mean, he was the whole package, man. He looked the part, even the lisp, everything
Yeah.
was just, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
Might sound like Cindy Brady, but he'll fucking knock your head off.
Yeah. Maybe that was it. He doesn't sound like a tough guy.
No, no.
On the phone, you'd be like, oh, I guess. Then he shows
And
up
even
and
that
he-
whole dynamic with him and Customado, that was it was something really cool about it.
He talked about how crazy Customado was too. He said he used to have guns. And we read his book. Yeah, he said he would come home sometimes and Cuss would be like laying on the floor pointing a gun out the door.
Oh, shut
Yeah,
up.
he was really a nutty guy.
Wow.
Yeah, really a nutty dude.
Yeah?
That would freak me out.
And before we continue, look,
You know, you kicking all the girls away. I mean, how do you keep them off you? What's going
You
on?
got
with
you
that?
got to, man. Especially when you're this close to fight time, and to your lifelong dream and
Yeah.
goal, and it's there, man. I told my dad I was 12 years old, man. I was gonna be fighting for the UFC one day. I'm just blessed to be where I'm at. I was 12. We went to our first UFC fight in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was UFC 2 or 3
wow.
when Kimo got his ponytail pulled out by.
I
Horace
would
Gracie.
I would love to do a fact check on that because I swear it was his mouthpiece. Everybody's always saying it's because I know the fight you're talking about. Of course, Kimo versus Hoist is the first time Hoist he won the fight, which everybody makes it like he didn't win, but he got so exhausted that the other guy was so athletic.
Yeah.
you know, he was so athletic.
explosive,
Probably choose that of his mind, probably.
But he had a hold
um,
of his ponytail.
He
Remember?
definitely had because you were allowed to pull hair back then. He had it, but
did
I
pull it
don't.
out?
I'm telling you now, I don't think that thing came out. I'm Mr. T. I know what you're talking about because I seen it, and then I remember watching it again, thinking, "No, that's his mouthpiece." Because I mean, I
Really?
think everybody would have found his. I mean, what is he? The tomahawked him? Huh?
You'd be wrong.
He's
I'd be,
correcting you.
I'd be wrong, Mr. T.
He's very
Let's
definitively correcting
listen,
you.
we're
great.
gonna have to. Mr. T, did you see this hair on the floor?
did.
You did?
And there are pictures of it.
There's
there's
pictures of it.
Oh, we have to look it up. Are you looking it up right now?
Chris, the
Are there
producer's
pictures?
looking this up. I would never call Mr. T a liar.
No.
Because I know Wonder Boy learned his shit somewhere.
Man, I remember that night because a guy that trained ninjutsu won it, right? He won. Steve Jenham.
Steve Jenham, the guy did the worst arm lock.
Oh
that
my
you can-
gosh.
Yeah.
And you got to say this about Hoy.